The Bay Area in California is a prime example of diversity in culture and society. But what makes a diverse society work together, and how does the youth of today play a role in our ability to coexist together?
In general, we have a lot more here, that's for sure, because we have so many different kinds of people. We're not limited to our culture here because there are so many different cultures, and I think in the Midwest they're more, kind of reserved, and they, don't accept a lot of other cultures or races or ethnicities or genders or sexual orientations as California, and specifically the Bay Area.
People love California or not, either people think we're too liberal or, we're not liberal enough.
Yeah. What issues are present today that our last generation had little or no experience with?
Mostly, especially because with the gay community, I think, has gotten so much bigger to us. It's just like, oh, my friend's gay, you're just like any other person. But I feel like my grandma probably wouldn't be so open to that.
Yeah.
I think that obviously back in the day, or years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, things were kept more undercover, so people didn't experience a lot because everything was kind of secretive, kind of modest, kind of, under wraps, whereas, today, for example, even though people are more out in the gay community than they were back then, I feel that because it was so secretive back then, they didn't have to deal with a lot of what other people thought because other people didn't know. Whereas now in the gay community, because they're out and it's more open, they face a lot more. So the diversity of that group faces a lot more because even though people, are open about it, it's something that people aren't still used to, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
But, I think that they face a lot more now. Besides, not to say that people back then didn't face it, because there was Stonewall in San Francisco where there were beatings every day, but, a lot more people were closeted because of that, I think. So.
How do educational environments for children and youth affect the way our new generations think and go about their daily lives?
I think I see more diversity in colleges or high schools than you would in a middle school or in an elementary school, just because colleges and high schools have International Day, where there's all the diversity, all the cultures, all the types of people get a mix. So I think it's more something that's pointed out and celebrated, except for when you're little, you don't really have to worry about that, I guess, because it's not you're going to have an International Day, when you're little.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do projects of where I'm from, and you do little paper cutouts of from Mexico or from Germany, but it's not as understood when you're little. So I think it's really cool that in school environments, at least, when I was at De Anza, they would have different people dancing different dances, or different music on orientation day or something like that. So I think that it is more accepted and shared in high school and college than it is in.
How does diversity in the workplace affect businesses?
Image has a lot to do with it as well, because if you're looking to be professional, you definitely can't look like you're racist,
I think that it's a good and bad thing. I feel that having diversity in the workplace is really good because it means that you're more accepting, and it means that you're willing to work with all kinds of people, but the quotas are targeting, in my opinion. It's we have to have this many or else we're not a good place to work, or people are going to think that we're not a good place to work because we're not diverse, so let's get this number of Latino people working for us. And I think that it should just be if you're good at what you do, then you get hired, and I don't think that a race or an ethnicity or a culture should be what it's based on. And I know that it's usually not, but the fact that there are places that have quotas is a little ridiculous. Just hire somebody no matter what race, ethnicity, or culture they are, if they're a good worker,
It's their strategy to I don't know, maybe for bigger companies to show that they're more diverse, to attract even more just other cultures and stuff.
A 2-day period where they were accepting applications. If you turn any in after that 2-day mark, they wouldn't take it. So it was only open for 48 hours. And because of, you know, San Francisco being part of the Bay Area, you think of Golden Gate Bridge, you think of San Francisco, it's a hot spot. They didn't have enough minorities that applied for the position, so they had to reopen the whole application process just because of, you know, they didn't get enough minorities.
I think it's both. At least for me, I know that it has been what I've experienced and what my parents have taught me, because my parents have taught me to be all accepting. And then I go and I am in situations where I'm surrounded by different kinds of people, so I have no problem with that. But there's also parents who don't teach their kids about diversity and don't teach their kids that there are other, you know, cultures, there are other views on things or other ways people do things. So they have to be thrown into experiences where they're like seeing how somebody else's family interacts or how different orientations or different genders interact. So I think it's both a taught and experienced.